Okay, today we're in section 3.1, mean, median, mode, and range. We are learning basically that these are called central measures of tendency. That's just a fancy word for how do the numbers tend to fall, like in the middle. What is their average, those middle numbers, okay? So that's what we're looking to find. So you need to know some terms and definitions. You need to write each one of these down. Mean is the average of the numbers. Median, we have to put them in order from least to greatest, and then we find the middle number. The mode is the number that appears the most, and the range is the difference between the highest and lowest number in a data set. So go ahead and write down these terms and definitions, and then we'll practice. Okay, so in example 1, I've got this set of numbers, and I first need to write them, what do we talk about with the median? We need to write them in order from least to greatest. So what you're going to do on your homework tonight and on your classwork in a minute is the very first thing you do is you write them in order from least to greatest. Then I want you to just wait for a second and we'll talk about the mean. All right, so when we're writing them in order from least to greatest, they're almost in order. 4, 4, 8, 11, 12, then what? 12 again, then 15, 16, 22. All right, so when we find the mean, what we need to do is we need to add all of the numbers together. So get out your calculators. We can use calculators this chapter. That helps us from making silly mistakes. Plus 12, plus 15, plus 16, plus 22. Add them all together, and what do you get? Write it on your notes. So you're going to write mean just like I have. You're going to write mean followed by a colon, and then you're going to write the total. What do you get when you add them all together? All right, so what do I get? 104. Very good. And now, that's not my mean, though. I have to divide by the number of numbers in my data set. So how many numbers do I have? I have not 8, but 9 numbers. So in your calculators now, I want you to divide 104 divided by 9. And what do you get? It gives you a fraction, right? You got a fraction? So now, there's a button above the delete button that says S to D. I want you to hit that button, S to D. And that gives you the decimal version, which is 11 and 5/10 repeating. And that's going to be your mean. So don't give me a fraction as your answer. Make sure you change it over to a decimal. So for the median, here's how the median works. If we have an odd number of numbers in our data set, there's going to be one number in the median. So how many numbers did we say was in our data set? 9. So there's going to be one middle number. If there's an even number of numbers, then there's going to be 2 middle numbers, and we'll talk about that in a second. So we start from the outside and work our way inside, and we can clearly see that our median is what? 12. Now the mode is simply the number that occurs the most. So I look for what numbers are repeating and which number repeats the most. Well, someone tell me, what number do you see that's repeating?
4 and 12.
4 and 12. And they both repeat the same number of times, so they are both the mode. Now, if I had had 3 4s and 2 12s, then 4 would be the mode by itself because it occurred the most. Okay? So it's not what number repeats, it's what number repeats the most, and in this case, there was a tie. 4 and 12, so I write them both. Now the range, guys, is going to be your largest number minus your smallest number. So what's our largest number? What's our smallest number? Show on your work, show on your notes, how you subtracted them to find your answer. I want to see on the range what you subtracted, on the mean what you divided by, and on the median what you divided by if you had to. In this case, we did not, but you'll see what I'm talking about more in a minute. All right, any questions on this one? Okay, so you think you can do a couple? Hopefully, we'll see. Okay, so I want you to work on your turn now. Numbers 1 and 2. I am in the book on page 102 if you want to look in your book at these problems. But I give you each number set, and what do you need to do first? Anybody remember what I said, Alexis? Put them in order from least to greatest. Guys, if you forget to do that, your median is going to be wrong. So don't forget to put them in order from least to greatest. All right, so do that first, and then I want you to find the mean, median, mode, and range of these two sets of numbers. All right, so the mean, when I add them all up, what do I get? 100 and, come on guys, and 8, very good. Divided by 9 equals 12. Did you show me what you divided by? I'm looking for that work on your homework tonight. Now, on the median, I needed to put them in order, least to greatest. 6, 7, 9, 11, 13, 13, twice, 14, 16, and 19. Now for the median, I like just doing little tick marks above each number, working my way inside, and my median is 13. What's my mode? 13. It occurs twice. And what's my range? 19 minus 6 equals 13. Did you show me what you subtracted by? Okay, make sure you show me that work. Now on number 2, again, I put them in order, least to greatest. I start with 10, 17, 20, 23. Oh, sorry. I thought I skipped one. All right, 17, 18, 20, 23. What comes next? 52, 66, then 79. All right, doesn't really matter what the mean. When I add them all together, what do I get? 285. Now, how many numbers are in my set? 8. So when I divide them, what do I get?
35,000.
Oh, you even said it right. Good job. 35 and 625 thousandths. All right, that's going to be my answer. Now for the median, when I work my way from the outside in, how many numbers were in this set? There were how many? 8 numbers. 8 is an even number. Whenever you have an even number of numbers in your data set, you take the middle 2 numbers and you take their average. So you're going to do 20 plus 23 divided by how many numbers? 2. Because you're adding 2 numbers together. You're taking their average. So that's 43 divided by 2. I want you to at least show me what you're dividing by. You don't necessarily have to show me that you're adding. You can do that part in your head. But 43 divided by 2 is what as a decimal? 21.5. Very good. Or 21 5/10. So that's how I find the median when I have an even number of numbers in my data set. Okay, there's going to be 2 middle numbers, and I take their average. I do that by adding them and dividing by 2. Do I have a mode? There is no mode. Don't say 0. 0 is a number. Okay, say none. None. If you say ain't none, I'm going to mark it wrong, right? Because that's not how we talk proper English, okay? I've seen all kinds of different answers for that. Just say none, okay? And we're good. So what about the range? What about the range?
69.
How'd you find that? 79 minus 10 equals 69. And then box it in. Just make sure that you show me this work. Show me what you subtracted by on the median. Show me what you divided by if you had to divide. And on the mean, show me what you divided by also. All right, so a little bit of work to show, not much. Anybody get those right? Most of them at least? Did you get most of them right? Good. Hopefully, for the most part, it's a review for you. Now, in example 3, we're talking about the best measure of central tendency, or the best average to represent the data. So I'm looking at this set of numbers. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what the mean, median, and mode are. Okay, the mean is 11, the median is 8, and the mode is 1. So which one of these numbers is the best reflection of the entire set of numbers? Well, there's a couple things we need to consider. All right, well, let's look at mode first of all. Well, yes, there are, let me give you a little bit of background too. In this example, these numbers represent donations. Has anybody ever done a fundraiser? Yeah, and you raise money, right? Well, they're basically saying that you did a fundraiser and you raised these donations from people. So somebody gave you $1, somebody gave you $8, somebody gave you $12, $10, $45, and so on. So here's all of your donations. So would $1 be a good representation of the donations that you collected? Is that a good did everybody give you $1 or close to it? No, you even have a $45 donation in there. $1 is not a good representation of that set of numbers. It might be the one that occurs the most, but it's not a good representation. And now let's talk about the mean. Okay, the mean is 11. Well, how many numbers in that data set are more than 11? How many of them? 2. How many are lower? All the rest of them, right? Like 6 of them are lower. So that's skewed too. And the reason it's skewed is because of this number right here. You see, 45 is much, much higher than all the other numbers. Do you see that? That's what we call an outlier. One number that's much higher than the rest of the numbers is called an outlier because it's now skewing your average. It's pulling your average higher than it should be. So many times, if the data set has what we call an outlier, the mean will not be a good representation either. If there are no outliers, then the mean could be. But if there is, which there is in this set, then the mean is not. So that leaves median. It's almost process of elimination, but it also makes sense because, yeah, a lot of the numbers are centralized right around the value of $8. Okay, so it's the best representation. And if you understand that, that's everything you need to know for 3.1.